Good afternoon, Husky Pups. Here is Miss Batone with your daily read aloud, and they all focus around Earth Day. Today's story is called Miss Rumphius. The setting of the story takes place in Maine, but our main character, Alice, travels around the world. One of the reasons why I picked this book is because she loves nature and she really enjoys traveling the world and noticing all of the extraordinary places that are in our world today. Don't forget, boys and girls, our character and setting are the main focus this week. Miss Rumphius. Story and pictures by Barbara Cooney. The Lupin lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow blue and purple rose-colored flowers. The Lupin lady is little and old, but she has not always been that way. I know, she is my great aunt and she told me so. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Alice who lived in the city by the sea. From the front steps, you could see the waves and the bristling masts of tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. So there's Alice. Now he worked in the shop at the bottom of the house making figureheads for the ships and carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures too of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put up in the sky. So you can see here that Alice wants to be an artist just like her grandfather. It's funny because my grandfather was a teacher and then I grew up to be a teacher. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I too will go to faraway places. And when I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "This is all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" asked Alice. "You must do something to make the world more beautiful," said her grandfather. "All right," said Alice, but she did not know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up, washed her face, and ate porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. So here's Alice with her grandfather, and he tells her, "You must do something important to make the world more beautiful." Then my Great Alice set out to do 3 things she had told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far away from the sea and the salt air. There she worked in a library, dusting books and keeping them from getting mixed up and helping people find the ones she wanted. Some of these books told her about far away places. People called her Miss Rumphius now. So if we think about a character trait for Alice, she's a librarian and she loves books about faraway places. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a wintry day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her and the smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical island," said Miss Rumphius, "but not quite." So as you can see, she loves to go into the conservatory and she loves to smell the flowers. So another specific detail that shows she loves nature. So Miss Rumphius went on a real tropical island adventure where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked on long beaches, picking up beautiful shells. One day she met the Bapa Raja, king of a fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife. He himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so that Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, he gave her a beautiful mother-of-pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise in the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine too," said Miss Rumphius. So Miss Rumphius did one thing that she said she was going to do. She started traveling the world. Look at the beautiful ocean behind her and the palm trees. My great Aunt Alice climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing, kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. Oh, what a foolish thing to do, she said. Well, I have certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it's time to find my place by the sea. And it was, and so she did. So she traveled the world, third grade, and saw all kinds of amazing places, beautiful places that our world has to offer. But then she got hurt, and then she realized she was going to do her second thing, find her place by the sea. So she did her first thing, traveled the world. Her second thing that she promised her grandfather to do was to find her place by the sea. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched across the heavens and sparkle on the water, and saw it set in the glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. But there is still one more thing I have to do, she said. I have to do something to make the world more beautiful. But what? The world already is pretty nice, she thought, looking out over the ocean. Boy, I would love to have a house like this one day by the water. Isn't that beautiful? It would be so calming. The next spring, Miss Rumphius was not very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose-colored. Lupins, said Miss Rumphius. I have always loved lupins the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could have still more flowers next year. But she was not able to. So at the end of the story, she's getting older, she's getting more sick. But she still has that one thing to do. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling much better. Now she could go out and take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she had not been in a long time. I don't believe my eyes, she cried. For when she got to the top, on the other side of the hill was a large patch of blue and purple rose-colored lupins. It was the wind, she said. It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here, and the birds must have helped. Then Miss Rumphius had a wonderful idea. So you can see those are her lupins, her favorite flower, and they're growing everywhere. She hurried home and got out her seed catalog. She sent off to the very best seed houses for 5 bushels of lupin seeds. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands, putting lupin seeds everywhere. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and back of the church. She tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt her anymore. Now some people call her that crazy old lady, crazy old lupin lady. So there she is, putting all of the seeds all over the town. I think she's finally doing that last thing, making the world a beautiful place. The next spring, there were lupins everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored flowers. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third and most difficult thing of all. If you look closely, look at the lupins. They're all over her town. She definitely made her village a more beautiful place. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year, there are more and more lupins. Now they call her the Lupin Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see her. When she invites us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often, she tells us stories of the faraway places she visited. When I grow up, I tell her, I too will go to the faraway places and come home to live by the sea. This is all very well, little Alice, says my aunt, but there is a third thing you must do. What is that, I ask? You must do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say. So there's Miss Lupin telling stories of her faraway places to her niece and all of the little kids that live in the village. But I do not know yet, what could that be? So here you can see, once again, all the lupins growing. Such a great story. We're now going to go back to our PowerPoint. Who is the main character? The main character is Alice, the lupin lady. What is the setting? The setting is Maine, but she also travels the world. How do the actions of the character connect to the setting? All Alice dreamed of doing was making the world more beautiful. She traveled the world and saw some extraordinary places. Alice planted lupin seeds all over her town. Today, what I did was I pretended to walk into Miss Rumphius's room, and what would I find? And that is going to be your ELA assignment for today. So, on her wall would be a world map and lots of pictures of all the places she's gone. On her desk would be the shell the Bapa Raja gave her when she visited the tropical island. A book bag for mountain climbing would be on her chair. She would have cups of flower seeds everywhere. She would have books that she reads to the children when they come over. So the project today is to pretend like you're going to walk into the main character's room. What would you see? All right, so I hope you enjoyed Miss Rumphius today. I thought it was a great book, and I love all of the flowers. In fact, if you notice, I put all of my purple flowers around my shirt. Do you see that? I put that on just for you. So remember, don't forget to write about a character, what you would find in their room, and what would you find in your teacher's room? One last thing, third grade. What could you do to make the world more beautiful?